Day 22, back day. One of my favorite days of the week just because of the versatility and the training I get to do. I say that, but I pretty much do lat pull downs every workout, but I love lat pull downs, and so I do them pretty much every workout. Usually I start off with the stack. Today I didn't do the stack. I wanted to focus more on a different kind of cue that I've been hearing works really well. Again, experimentation with your training is really important because if you don't experiment, you never change your training, and if you never change your training, you never change the size of your muscles. The cue I was thinking about was instead of pulling the bar directly towards my chest, I'd pull it directly in front of me as linearly as possible, or as vertically as possible, I should say. It's probably better. So from the side angle, I think it'll look a little better. I'm pulling it as straight down as I possibly can. Now, what that does is engages more of the lower lats, and in general, just engages a lot more. Because if you look at the anatomy of the lat, it's a muscle that inserts vertically, right? It's a vertical muscle on your back. Doesn't that mean if the angle of your movement is vertical, it would target a vertical muscle more? And the answer is yes. I don't know if the science is like 100% on that, but I did it today in this training session and it turned out to be the case. I felt my lats a lot more on the lat pull down, even though, again, I'm not pulling it all the way to my chest. I'm not perfect form. I'm not like squeezing every time. Like I'm not doing all that stuff, right? There is some degree of squeeze and some degree of stretch at the top and the bottom, but it's not anything crazy and over the top to where I'm not even training heavy. So that's what I do. I also do some drop sets. It might be a little more noticeable on the drop sets, but the way I'm pulling is just so much more effective for engaging your back. It's a little difficult to explain and you kind of have to develop it intuitively, but if I can do it, you can do it as well. So don't worry about that. Here's a full-on side angle if it helps you a little bit more. Again, pull directly down vertically and really just squeeze that lower lat together. And it just drives blood into that entire gigantic muscle on your back that we all want to grow. So you can see here, it's almost like a 90-degree pull. Not quite, but close enough. And of course, the weight is a little lower than it usually is. Again, I'm not throwing the stack around like I would normally. It's around like 220 right now, which is still really heavy. As you can see, I barely get like 7 or 8 reps, so I just do a drop set. Last set I dropped it to 200 because it was, again, getting really heavy, but 4 sets in total. Switched up the way I did the lat pull down and it helped a lot. You see that a lot of these back days I'm doing things differently, and that's just because I want to experiment and learn more about training. It's not always going to be the same thing. I mean, it's just going to be the same exercises, but the way I do them is going to change from time to time just because I want to feel different ways of the movement. You know what I mean? So we're done the lat pull down. What do you think I'm going to do now? Another pull down or a row? If you answered row, you've been watching my videos and I respect that heavily. So we're doing a row. Is going to be a T-bar row, and I severely underestimated my strength on the T-bar row. And you can't go saying, oh, it's just because your form sucks, bro. You should use one plate and control the eccentric. Well, I used 4 plates here, controlled the eccentric, felt the squeeze and the stretch, and did like 15 reps, or I mean like 20 reps even, really easily. So suck on that, you 135 benching pool noodle. But yeah, we move up to 5 plates, which also ends up being pretty light. And then the 6 plate set is a set where my form is that of Branch Warren's. Okay, well, obviously not quite, but it's like, it's not the best. And honestly, I don't care because my back still felt crazy. 6 plates isn't actually 6 plates, it's 6 25-pound plates. So yeah, that's a total scam. But it helps with the range of motion in case you were wondering why I'm using the 25-pound plates instead of the 45-pound plates. If you do the 45-pound plates, you're pretty much getting no range of motion. So here you can see there's no full extension. I'm kind of just moving the weight. The tempo is very fast, but that works a lot of the time. No drop set here. I saved the drop sets here. I saved the drop sets on the T-bar rows and drop 4 times on the last set, as in a quadruple drop set. Watch how insane this set is. Just take a moment and witness this set right here. So I start off with 6 plates. I get a decent number of reps. I drop it to 5 plates. I get like another 6 or 7. I drop it to 4, another 6 or 7. Drop it to 3, another 6 or 7. And I think I even dropped it to 2 and did it again. I don't know what kind of demons got into my head to do that, but I ended up doing it and it felt unbelievable. My mid-back had never been so succulently pumped. There had never been so much blood, plasma, erythrocyte, leukocyte, platelet-rich, just nutrient-dense, oxygenated hemoglobin in my muscles. I mean, that was just beautiful. Okay, last exercise, we did a pull down and a row. So we're doing another pull down because I want to grow the width of my back. I want to get wide as a house. I want to not be able to fit through doors. If I can fit through doors, I'm not big enough. So You can see here that usually I do 2 plates on this machine if you've been watching my videos recently, but I drop it to 1.25. Now you can see that the tempo is a lot slower, and that's because on the previous workouts, this machine, I didn't quite feel it that well. I still felt the stretch at the top, but it was the squeeze at the bottom that I was after, and today I actually felt it at the expense of the bench almost ending my bodybuilding career. So you can see that the bench completely ditches me mid-set, but I'm literally like levitating and still pulling the weight down. Thank goodness for the handle on top. I give the bench a quick little kick to notify it of its poor behavior, and I put it back into position, but proceed not to sit on the bench anymore because it was falling down. Anyways, important thing here is the stretch and the squeeze. Because it's a machine and going heavy on this machine, I don't really feel it. If you do feel it, you're lucky, but I don't. So I have to go slow, I have to squeeze, and I have to stretch, and that did help me feel it this time around. I didn't end up doing the pull-up superset that I normally do. 1, because it was taken, and 2, because I felt it enough on this exercise alone that I didn't need to do it. And overall, 10 sets. I almost finished this back workout in under an hour, I think, which is like the fastest workout I've had in my entire life. And you might be wondering, like, does that affect how good the workout was? Like, does it really matter how long you train in the gym? And the answer is no. If you get a specific number of sets, you get a ridiculous pump, and you feel like you truly tax the muscle to its maximum capability, then what more reason do you have to stay in the gym? Get out of there, go proceed on with the rest of the day, and that's it. Like, you don't need to stay in the gym for 6 hours just because you think you're cool, you're a Sigma male, and you're in there before anyone. Like, it really does not make a difference because at some point, like at the 2-hour mark, you're just not even training to grow at that point. You're just training because it's cool. You know what I mean? So I was literally in there for like an hour, finished it up quickly, and that was that. I was surprised at how good my back looked here. Because again, the lighting on this phone, I still got to figure out, but pretty decent posing, especially the lat spurt. I mean, that is one thick back, especially the lower lats and the erectors. I mean, they just stick out like 3D. It looks really cool. I can't wait to see how I look when I cut down. I mean, it's going to look peeled. The detail is going to be there, and that's going to be just beautiful. You thought we were done with the back day, but again, it's back and rear delts today. So it's not just back. I hit rear delts with back because my shoulder day is with chest and it's going to be very packed. I mentioned that in the last video, so I'm not going to repeat it again. I just repeated it. Anyways, start off with the 25s. Get, I think, 25 reps to drive a ton of blood in the rear delts. Kind of like a pre-exhaust set, which helps a lot with feeling the contraction. I've never consistently done this movement, but I might start doing it now because it felt really good. Arguably better than the pec deck. I move on to the 35s and do supersets with the 20s to finish off the workout. 4 sets in total for rear delts. Plenty, as long as you're going hard, which is what I did today. So simple ass back day. That's how you get huge. Nothing complicated. You know the deal by now. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. And I will probably drop tomorrow's leg day after this video. I don't know when that'll be, but it'll be pretty soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around.